Imagine stumbling across a 1974 D. Jefferson nickel in your pocket change, a seemingly ordinary 5-cent coin that could be worth an astonishing $212 million, sparking a frenzy among collectors and treasure hunters chasing one of the rarest numismatic gems in American history, a coin so valuable it could rewrite your future in an instant. The Jefferson nickel, first introduced in 1938, replaced the Buffalo nickel, which was notoriously difficult to strike due to its intricate design, leading the U.S. Mint to seek a fresh start with a coin honoring Thomas Jefferson, the third U.S. president, crafted by German-born artist Felix Schlag after winning a national design competition. The 1974 D nickel, minted in Denver, is part of this long-running series, composed of 75% copper and 25% nickel, weighing 5 grams with a diameter of 21.21 millimeters and a plain edge, featuring Jefferson's left-facing profile on the obverse, based on a bust by Jean-Antoine Houdon, with inscriptions, "In God We Trust," "Liberty," and the year 1974, separated by a small star, while the reverse showcases Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia estate, with E pluribus unum, Monticello, 5 cents. And United States of America elegantly arranged. In 1974, the Denver Mint produced over 277 million nickels, making the standard coin common and typically worth only its face value of 5 cents in circulated condition, but whispers of an extraordinary 1974 D nickel with unique characteristics have fueled speculation of a $212 million valuation, a figure that seems almost mythical in the numismatic world. This rumored value likely stems from rare error coins or exceptional specimens, as no standard 1974 D nickel commands such a price, with high-grade examples, MS-67 and above, being scarce but valued at far more modest sums, like $100 to $5,550 for a 1973 S-proof PR-70 sold in 2018. Errors like annealing discoloration, clipped planchets, or off-center strikes can elevate a nickel's value, and the 1974 D could theoretically have a spectacular error, perhaps a double strike or a unique die variety, though no documented case supports the $212 million claim, which may trace back to exaggerated reports or misinterpretations of rare nickel sales, like the 1964 SMS Jefferson nickel fetching $32,900 due to its satin finish and prototype status. During World War II, from 1942 to 1945, the Mint altered the nickel's composition to a copper-silver-manganese alloy to conserve nickel for the war effort, creating the famous war nickels, identifiable by a large mint mark above Monticello, but by 1974, the standard cupronickel alloy had long resumed, ruling out precious metal content as a factor in this coin's supposed value. The 1974 S-proof nickels, struck in San Francisco, are known for their sharp details and deep cameo finishes, with perfect PR-70 examples being rare and valuable, yet still nowhere near $212 million. Numismatists grade coins on the Sheldon scale, where MS-65 to MS-67 coins show crisp strikes, and full steps, FS, designation, indicating fully visible steps on Monticello's reverse, can significantly boost value, as seen with coins like the 1939 double die reverse fetching $23,500 in 2014. The allure of a $212 million 1974 D nickel may echo stories like the 1942 S war nickel valued at $9,000 or the unverified tale of a 1942 pure nickel planchet error, rumored to be worth millions, though such claims often lack auction records or grading certification from PCGS or NGC. The coin's history ties to the broader Jefferson nickel series, which saw design tweaks in 1966 with Schlag's initials added and mint marks moved in 1968, reflecting evolving mint practices, while the 1970s saw high mintages to combat coin shortages, making error coins the primary driver of value. Collectors prize errors like double dies, repunched mint marks, or the 1971 no mint mark proof, valued up to $8,100 in deep cameo, but the $212 million figure for a 1974 D likely blends fact with folklore, possibly inspired by viral posts on platforms like X exaggerating rare finds, such as a 1942 error nickel or the 1964 SMS. The Mint's 1938 competition, judged by Nellie Taylor Ross, required Jefferson's portrait and Monticello, but Schlag's original three-quarter Monticello view was revised to a frontal perspective, criticized by some as less dynamic, yet it became iconic. Coin collecting thrives on such stories, with the 1950 D. Nichols low mintage of $2.5 million once sparking a frenzy, though its value later stabilized at $17,250 for an MS-67FS example in 2006. The 1974 DS ordinary production makes a $212 million valuation improbable without a unique error or historical anomaly, like the hollow nickel used by Soviet spy Rudolf Abel in 1957, which hid a coded message and underscores the cultural intrigue of nickels beyond their monetary worth. Today, collectors are urged to scrutinize 1974 D nickels for errors, check the mint mark near Jefferson's ponytail, examine Monticello's steps, or look for doubling, using a magnifying glass, as a Pennsylvania man's $9,000 1942 find proves treasures hide in plain sight. The numismatic community buzzes with tales of million-dollar coins, yet experts caution that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence, and while a 1974 D nickel could fetch thousands for a rare error, $212 million likely reflects hype rather than reality, urging collectors to verify through reputable grading services. So, next time you fish a nickel from your change, give it a second glance. You might not find a $212 million fortune, but you could uncover a piece of history worth far more than 5 cents. If you enjoyed this deep dive into the 1974 D. Jefferson Nichols tantalizing tale, like and subscribe for more numismatic adventures. Next, 1993 P. Jefferson Nickel USA coins today. Coin enthusiasts, collectors, and treasure hunters, to an exciting deep dive into the world of numismatics, where a single small coin could be worth a fortune. Today, we're exploring the 1993 P. Jefferson nickel, a seemingly ordinary 5-cent piece that, due to rare errors, mint mark mistakes, and unique production quirks, could theoretically command a value of $30 million. A staggering leap from its humble face value, so buckle up as we unravel the fascinating story of this coin, its history, its errors, and the tantalizing possibilities that make it a holy grail for collectors. The Jefferson nickel, first introduced in 1938, is one of the longest-running coin series in United States history, designed by Felix Schlag to honor the third U.S. President, Thomas Jefferson, with his portrait on the obverse and his Virginia estate, Monticello, on the reverse, and it's been a staple of American pocket change ever since. Crafted primarily from a 75% copper and 25% nickel alloy, except for the wartime years of 1942 to 1945 when a silver alloy was used to conserve nickel for the war effort. By 1993, the U.S. Mint was producing Jefferson nickels in massive quantities, with the Philadelphia Mint, marked by the P mint mark or sometimes no mint mark in earlier years, striking over 412 million nickels that year alone, making the 1993 P a common coin in circulated condition, typically worth just its face value of 5 cents unless something extraordinary sets it apart. But what could transform this everyday nickel into a $30 million treasure? The answer lies in the rare and captivating world of minting errors, where human mistakes, mechanical mishaps, and production anomalies create coins that are one of a kind, coveted by collectors who are willing to pay astronomical sums for the right specimen. Let's start with the basics of the 1993 P. Jefferson nickel, minted in Philadelphia. It features Jefferson's left-facing profile on the obverse, with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," along the left rim, "Liberty," and 1993, separated by a star on the right, and on the reverse, a detailed depiction of Monticello with "E pluribus unum" above and "United States of America," and 5 cents below, all struck on a 5-gram, 21.2 mm copper-nickel planchet with a plain edge. In circulated condition, these coins are worth pennies, but in uncirculated or mint state grades, particularly those with the "full steps" designation, where the 6 steps leading up to Monticello are sharply defined due to a strong strike, they can fetch modest premiums, typically $1 to $5 for coins graded MS-65 or higher by professional grading services like PCGS or NGC. However, the real value, the kind that could hypothetically reach millions, comes from errors and varieties that make a 1993 P nickel extraordinarily rare, and while no single 1993 P Jefferson nickel has yet been documented as selling for $30 million, the potential exists when we consider the types of errors known in the Jefferson nickel series and the astronomical prices paid for similar error coins in other denominations, so let's explore the possibilities that could elevate this coin to such a jaw-dropping valuation. First, let's consider mint mark errors, which are among the most sought-after mistakes in numismatics because they're often easy to spot and tied to specific minting processes. In 1993, the Philadelphia Mint produced both circulation strikes and proof coins, but proof coins were struck in San Francisco, marked with an S mint mark, while circulation strikes from Philadelphia typically bore no mint mark until 1980, when the P mint mark was introduced for Jefferson nickels. A rare mint mark error could occur if, for example, a 1993 P nickel was mistakenly struck with a proof die intended for San Francisco, resulting in a coin with an S mint mark or, even more dramatically, a missing mint mark on a proof quality coin. Such errors are exceedingly rare because proof dies are carefully controlled, but they're not unheard of in other years, like the 1970 S proof Jefferson nickel, which has sold for $30,000 in PR69 condition due to the absence of the expected S mint mark, a mistake caused when a mint worker used a circulation die instead of a proof die. If a 1993 P nickel were discovered with a similar mint mark anomaly, say, a proof quality coin lacking the S or bearing an incorrect P over an S, it could command a significant premium, potentially in the tens of thousands, though reaching $30 million would require an unprecedented combination of rarity, condition, and collector frenzy. Another mint mark-related error could involve a repunched mint mark (RPM), where the P mint mark is struck multiple times, slightly misaligned, creating a doubled or tripled appearance. RPMs were more common before the 1990s when mint marks were hand-punched onto dies, but even in 1993, a subtle RPM could occur due to die preparation errors. For example, the 1942 D over horizontal D Jefferson nickel, where the D mint mark was mistakenly punched horizontally and then corrected, is a famous RPM that has sold for up to $15,275 in MS66 and $32,200 with full steps, and a hypothetical 1993 P RPM with a dramatic overpunch, like a P over an S or another mint mark, could push its value into the high thousands or beyond, especially if paired with pristine condition and a full steps designation. Beyond mint mark errors, double die errors are another category that could skyrocket the value of a 1993 P Jefferson nickel. A double die occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned during the hubbing process, causing elements like letters, numbers, or design features to appear doubled. In the Jefferson nickel series, double dies are highly prized, such as the 1943 P double die reverse, where the Monticello building and inscriptions show clear doubling, or the 1943 P double die, where Jefferson's I is visibly doubled, both of which can fetch thousands in high grades. If a 1993 P nickel were discovered with a dramatic double die, say, doubling on Jefferson's portrait, the date, or the Monticello steps, it could generate significant excitement among collectors. The value would depend on the visibility of the doubling and the coin's condition, but a strong double die in MS67 or higher with full steps could easily reach $5,000 to $10,000, and if it were a previously unknown variety with exceptional clarity, it could climb higher, though $30 million would still be an extraordinary leap requiring a perfect storm of rarity and demand. Another error type is the off-center strike, where the coin is misaligned during striking, causing part of the design to be missing or shifted. A 1993 P nickel with a 50% off-center strike, where half the design is off the planchet, could be worth $300 to $1,000 depending on how much of the design remains visible, as noted for similar Jefferson nickel errors. While impressive, such errors alone wouldn't reach millions unless combined with other rare factors, like being struck on a unique planchet or in a high-grade point. One of the most valuable error types is when a coin is struck on the wrong planchet, a mistake that creates a coin with an entirely different metal composition or size. For example, a 1964 SMS Jefferson nickel struck on a copper planchet intended for a penny, resulting in a reddish-brown color, is a rare error that could fetch tens of thousands. If a 1993 P. Jefferson nickel were struck on a silver planchet leftover from the wartime nickel era, 1942 to 1945, 35% silver, 56% copper, 9% manganese. It would be an extraordinary find, as silver planchets were no longer used in 1993, but stray planchets have been known to slip through in other years. Such a coin would combine the intrinsic value of its silver content, roughly 0.0563 troy ounces, worth about $1.50 at current silver prices, with a numismatic premium for its rarity, potentially reaching $10,000 or more in pristine condition. Even more spectacular would be a 1993 P nickel struck on a planchet for a higher denomination, like a dime or quarter planchet, or a foreign coin blank, which could push its value into the six figures due to its uniqueness. The most famous wrong planchet error in U.S. coinage is the 1943 bronze Lincoln cent, mistakenly struck on a copper planchet instead of zinc-coated steel, with top specimens selling for $1.7 million to $2.7 million, illustrating how a wrong planchet error can drive values into the stratosphere. A 1993 P nickel on a gold or platinum planchet, though highly unlikely, would be a numismatic unicorn, potentially justifying a multi-million-dollar valuation due to its impossibility and allure, though no such error has been documented for this year. Clipped planchet errors, where a portion of the coin's edge is missing due to an improperly cut blank, are another possibility for the 1993 P nickel. These errors are visually striking and can fetch $100 to $500 depending on the size of the clip and the coin's condition, but they're unlikely to reach millions unless the clip is dramatic and the coin is in gem condition with other anomalies. Struck-through errors, where a foreign object like grease, metal clippings, or cloth gets between the die and planchet during striking, can also add value. A 1993 P nickel with a significant struck-through error, such as one obscuring the date or Jefferson's face, might be worth $50 to $200, but a major struck-through error combined with a high grade could push it higher. Die cracks or die breaks, where the die itself fractures during striking, leave raised lines or marks on the coin, and while these are typically minor, a severe die break creating a cud could make a 1993 P nickel stand out, potentially valued at $500 to $1,000 in high grades. Overdate errors, like the 1943 P3 halves fishhook N. Next 1973 D. Jefferson nickels USA coin enthusiasts, collectors, and treasure hunters, to an exciting deep dive into one of the most fascinating stories in American numismatics, the 1973 D. Jefferson nickel, a seemingly ordinary 5-cent piece that, due to rare errors, mint mark mistakes, and unique production anomalies, could be worth an astonishing $40 million, far beyond its humble face value. Today, we're going to unravel the mystery of why this particular coin, struck at the Denver Mint in 1973, has the potential to turn pocket change into a life-changing fortune, exploring its historical context, design details, minting process, and the specific errors that make certain examples so extraordinarily valuable, while also shedding light on the broader world of coin collecting and the allure of chasing rare varieties that captivate numismatists worldwide. The Jefferson Nickel Series, introduced in 1938, honors Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, a founding father, and the principal author of the Declaration of Independence, with a portrait designed by Felix Schlag, a German immigrant artist who won a national competition to create the coin's iconic obverse and reverse, featuring Jefferson's profile on the front and his Virginia estate, Monticello, on the back, a design that has remained a staple of American coinage for decades, save for minor updates and commemorative variations. In 1973, the United States was in the midst of significant economic and cultural changes, with the Vietnam War winding down, the Watergate scandal unfolding, and the U.S. Mint grappling with the aftermath of the coin shortages of the 1960s, which had prompted massive production runs to meet public demand, resulting in over 384 million nickels struck at the Philadelphia Mint, 277 million at Denver, and 2.6 million proof coins at San Francisco, making the 1973 D nickel a common coin in circulated condition, typically worth no more than its 5-cent face value unless it exhibits rare characteristics or errors that elevate its status to a numismatic treasure. The Denver Mint, identifiable by the D mint mark on the obverse to the right of Jefferson's ponytail, produced coins that were generally well struck, but the sheer volume of production in 1973 meant that quality control was not always perfect, leading to a variety of minting errors that could occur during the complex process of creating coins, from die preparation to striking, which we'll explore in detail to understand why some 1973 D nickels are so valuable. Minting errors occur when something goes wrong during the production of a coin, and these anomalies can range from subtle to dramatic, with the most valuable errors being those that are rare, visually striking, and verifiable by professional grading services like the Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, or Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, which assign grades on the Sheldon scale from 1 to 70, with higher grades like MS65 and above indicating uncirculated coins in near-perfect condition, often commanding significant premiums, especially when paired with unique errors. One of the most coveted errors in the Jefferson nickel series is the double die, where the coin's design is struck twice by the die, causing elements like text or Jefferson's profile to appear doubled, and while no major double die varieties are widely documented for the 1973 D nickel, the possibility exists that a rare, undiscovered double die could significantly increase a coin's value, potentially reaching thousands or even millions if it's in pristine condition and exhibits dramatic doubling visible to the naked eye, as seen in famous examples like the 1955 Lincoln cent double die, which set a precedent for the high value of such errors. Another error that could elevate a 1973 D nickel's worth is an off-center strike, where the coin is not properly aligned during striking, resulting in part of the design being missing or shifted toward one edge, with a 50% off-center strike in high grade potentially fetching $300 to $1,000 or more, depending on how much of the design remains visible and the coin's overall condition, as collectors prize such dramatic errors for their uniqueness and visual appeal. Repunched mint marks, RPMs, where the mint mark is stamped multiple times, slightly misaligned, were common in the era before the 1990s when mint marks were hand-punched onto dies, and a 1973 D nickel with a clear D over D RPM could be worth hundreds or thousands of dollars, especially if graded MS66 or higher with the full steps designation, which refers to the clarity of the 5 or 6 steps leading up to Monticello on the reverse, a feature that is notoriously difficult to preserve due to the high strike pressure required for nickel coins, which are made of a hard 75% copper and 25% nickel alloy, unlike the silver-containing, war nickels, of 1942 to 1945. The full steps designation, awarded by grading services, significantly increases a coin's value, with some Jefferson nickels, like a 1953 SMS67 full steps, selling for $24,000 at auction, suggesting that a 1973 D nickel with this feature in top condition could command a similar premium, particularly if paired with a rare error like an RPM or double die, as collectors are willing to pay a premium for coins that combine multiple rare attributes. Another rare error that could theoretically push a 1973 D nickel's value into the millions is a missing mint mark error, though this is more commonly associated with proof coins like the 1971 S/No-S nickel, which is worth $1,000 and up due to its rarity, with only a few hundred examples known, and while the 1973 D should always bear a D mint mark. A mint error where the mint mark was omitted or filled during striking could create a one-of-a-kind coin, potentially valued at astronomical figures if authenticated, as seen with other error by omission coins like the 1922 D no D Lincoln cent clipped planchet errors, where the coin is struck on a blank that wasn't fully cut from the metal sheet, resulting in a curved or missing edge, are another possibility, with such errors typically valued at $50 to $500 depending on severity and condition. But a dramatic example in gem condition could fetch more, especially if it's a unique variety that hasn't been widely catalogued. Overdates, where a die from a previous year is reused and shows a faint earlier date under the current one, are less likely for 1973 D nickels but not impossible, as seen in the 1943 P3/2 nickel, which is worth thousands due to its rarity, and a hypothetical 1973 D overdate could similarly skyrocket in value if discovered, particularly if it's a clear and dramatic error that captures collectors' imaginations. The condition of a 1973 D nickel is critical to its value, with uncirculated coins graded MS-60 and above fetching higher prices, and gem-quality coins at MS-65 or higher, especially with full steps, being extremely scarce, as the PCGS estimates only a small fraction of 1973 D nickels survive in such high grades, with values starting at $1 for MS-60, rising to $12 for MS-64, $22 for MS-65, and potentially $750 or more for MS-67, though no public sales data exists for MS-67 1973 D nickels, suggesting that a pristine example with a rare error could set a new record. The historical context of 1973 also plays a role in the coin's allure, as the U.S. Mint was transitioning away from the coin shortage era, and while mint marks were reintroduced in 1968 after a brief hiatus, the Denver Mint's high output meant that errors were more likely to slip through quality control, increasing the chances of rare varieties entering circulation, where they could be discovered by astute collectors or lucky individuals checking their change. The San Francisco Mint produced proof nickels in 1973, identifiable by their mirror-like finish and sharp details, and while these are distinct from the 1973 D business strikes, a proof-like 1973 D nickel, caused by a freshly polished die, could be mistaken for a proof and command a premium, especially if it exhibits errors like those mentioned, with values potentially reaching $1,000 or more for a high-grade example with unique characteristics. The allure of a $40 million valuation for a 1973 D nickel hinges on the possibility of an ultra-rare error or variety, such as a unique combination of a double die, off-center strike, or missing mint mark, coupled with an impeccable MS-68 grade and full steps designation, as seen in other Jefferson nickels like the 1964 SMS SP68, which sold for $31,200 in 2021, or the 1964 DMS65 plus D/D, which fetched $9,000, indicating that a previously unknown 1973 D variety with similar attributes could theoretically approach or exceed such figures, especially if only a handful of examples exist, driving collector demand to unprecedented levels. The numismatic market is driven by rarity, condition, and demand, with coins that tell a unique story, like a 1973 D nickel with a dramatic error, often fetching prices far beyond their intrinsic value, as collectors seek to own a piece of history that stands out from the millions of common coins minted that year. To identify a valuable 1973 D nickel, collectors should examine the coin under magnification, looking for doubling in the lettering, mint mark, or Jefferson's profile, checking for off-center strikes or clipped edges, and verifying the presence of a clear D mint mark, while also assessing the condition of the Monticello steps, as full steps coins are exceedingly rare and highly prized, often requiring professional grading to confirm authenticity and value. The coin's composition, 75% copper and 25% nickel, means it lacks the intrinsic value of silver or nickels, so its worth is entirely tied to its numismatic appeal, making errors and high-grade conditions the key drivers of value, with the potential for a single coin to be a one-of-one discovery that redefines the market. Next, 1988 P. Jefferson, coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters, to an exciting journey into the world of the 1988 P. Jefferson nickel, a seemingly ordinary 5-cent piece that could be worth a staggering $71 million due to rare errors, mint mark mistakes, and unique characteristics that make it a numismatic gem. Buckle up as we dive deep into the fascinating details of this coin, its history, and the elusive factors that could transform a humble nickel from pocket change into a collector's holy grail, perfect for anyone curious about coin collecting or dreaming of striking it rich with a rare find. The Jefferson nickel, first introduced in 1938, was designed by Felix Schlag to honor the third U.S. President, Thomas Jefferson, featuring his portrait on the obverse and his iconic Monticello estate on the reverse, a design that has remained largely consistent for decades, including in 1988 when the Philadelphia Mint, marked by the P mint mark, struck millions of these coins for circulation. In 1988, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 771 million Jefferson nickels, making the 1988 P a common coin in circulated condition, typically worth its face value of 5 cents unless it exhibits exceptional qualities or errors that elevate its value to extraordinary heights. The composition of the 1988 P. Jefferson nickel is standard for the series post-1965, consisting of 75% copper and 25% nickel over a copper core, weighing 5 grams, with a diameter of 21.2 mm and a plain edge, lacking the silver content of the wartime nickels from 1942 to 1945, which makes errors and condition the primary drivers of value for this year. To understand why a 1988 P. Jefferson nickel could theoretically command $71 million, we must explore the rare errors, mint mark anomalies, and special qualities that set certain coins apart, as well as the broader context of coin collecting, where condition, rarity, and historical significance can create astronomical values. Let's start with the basics. The obverse of the 1988 P. nickel features Thomas Jefferson's left-facing profile, based on a bust by Jean-Antoine Houdon, with the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," along the left rim, "Liberty," and the date, 1988, separated by a star on the right, and the P. mint mark just below the date. A placement standardized since 1968 when mint marks moved from the reverse to the obverse. The reverse showcases Monticello, Jefferson's Virginia home, with the inscriptions, "E pluribus unum," at the top, "United States of America," along the lower rim, and 5 cents below Monticello, a design that's both elegant and iconic but prone to certain minting errors that collectors prize. In the world of numismatics, errors occur during the minting process when something goes awry, creating coins with unique imperfections that can significantly increase their value, and while no single 1988 P. Jefferson nickel has been documented as selling for $71 million, the potential exists if an exceptionally rare error or combination of errors were discovered. Drawing parallels to other high-value coins like the 1964 SMS Jefferson nickel, which sold for $41,231.25 due to its rarity and pristine condition. Let's delve into the types of errors that could theoretically push a 1988 P. nickel into the stratosphere of value, starting with double die errors, which occur when a die is struck multiple times during its creation, resulting in a doubled image on the coin. A double die obverse, DDO, on a 1988 P. nickel might show doubling in Jefferson's profile, particularly in the eye, nose, or inscriptions like "Liberty" or "In God We Trust," while a double die reverse, DDR, could manifest in the Monticello building, its steps, or the text 5 cents or United States of America, with notable examples from other years, like the 1939 DDR, fetching thousands due to clear doubling. If a 1988 P. nickel were found with a dramatic DDO or DDR, especially in high-grade condition like MS67 or above with full steps, where the 6 steps leading to Monticello are fully struck and distinct, it could command a premium far exceeding typical values, potentially reaching into the tens or hundreds of thousands, though $71 million would require an unprecedented level of rarity and demand. Another error to consider is the repunched mint mark, RPM, a feature more common before 1990 when mint marks were hand-punched onto dies, sometimes resulting in a secondary, misaligned mint mark image, such as a P over a slightly offset P on the 1988 P. nickel, which would be highly unusual since the Philadelphia Mint began using machine-punched mint marks by this time, making such an error exceedingly rare and valuable if discovered. For instance, the 1942 D over horizontal D RPM is a famous Jefferson nickel variety worth up to $32,200 in MS66 with full steps, and a similar error on a 1988 P could theoretically drive its value into the 6 or 7 figures due to its scarcity in a high mintage year. Off-center strikes are another exciting error, where the coin is struck misaligned, leaving part of the design off the planchet and a blank crescent on one side, with a 1988 P. nickel struck 50% off-center in uncirculated condition potentially fetching hundreds or thousands, depending on the degree of misalignment and eye appeal. Clipped planchet errors, where the coin blank is improperly cut, resulting in a missing portion of the coin, are also collectible, with a 1988 P. nickel exhibiting a significant clip, say, 10% of the coin missing, potentially valued at $50 to $500 in high grades, though not enough to approach $71 million unless combined with other factors like extreme rarity or historical significance. Another rare error is the improper alloy mix, sometimes called black beauty nickels, where the copper-nickel alloy is unevenly mixed, creating a dark or mottled appearance, as seen in some early 1950s nickels, a 1988 P nickel with this error in gem condition could attract collectors willing to pay a premium, perhaps $100 to $1,000, but again, reaching multi-million-dollar status would require an extraordinary context, such as being a unique specimen or part of a famous collection. The full steps designation is a critical factor in Jefferson nickel valuation, as coins with fully struck, distinct steps on Monticello are scarce due to the high relief design, which often resulted in weak strikes, especially in high mintage years like 1988. The Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, estimates that only a small fraction of Jefferson nickels qualify for the full steps FS designation, and for 1988 P nickels, a coin graded MS65 FS might be worth $50 to $100, while an MS67 FS could fetch $500 to $1,000, with values escalating rapidly for higher grades like MS68 FS, which are virtually unheard of for this year. If a 1988 P nickel were discovered in MS68 FS with a significant error like a DDO or RPM, its value could soar into the tens of thousands, but reaching $71 million would likely require a combination of errors, impeccable condition, and a unique historical narrative, such as being a one-of-a-kind prototype or from a special mint set. Special mint sets, SMS, from the mid-1960s, like the 1964 SMS Jefferson nickel, are known for their exceptional strike quality and matte finish, and while number 1988 SMS nickels are documented, the discovery of a similar experimental strike from 1988 could theoretically command astronomical prices due to its uniqueness, as seen with the 1964 SMS nickel's $41,231.25 sale. Mint mark errors, while less likely in 1988 due to automated processes, could include a hypothetical P over D or S error, where a die intended for Denver or San Francisco was repurposed for Philadelphia, leaving a faint trace of the previous mint mark, a scenario akin to the 1954 S over D nickel, which is highly prized. Such an error on a 1988 P nickel would be a numismatic sensation, potentially worth thousands or more in high grades. Another possibility is a die crack or cud, where a piece of the die breaks, creating a raised blob or irregularity on the coin, with a major cut on a 1988 P nickel, especially on Jefferson's portrait or Monticello, potentially valued at $100 to $1,000 depending on severity and condition. Overdate errors, like the 1943 P3 over 2, are unlikely in 1988 due to modern minting technology, but if a die from 1987 were reused and overstruck with 1988, creating a visible 87 overdate, it could be worth thousands, especially in uncirculated condition with full steps. The condition of the coin is paramount, as Jefferson nickels in circulated grades, good to very fine, are typically worth only face value unless they have significant errors, while uncirculated coins, MS60 and above, start to gain value, with MS65 coins at $5 to $10, MS66 at $15 to $50. And MS67 at $100 to $500 for 1988 P nickels, according to USA Coin Book and PCGS price guides. The rarity of gem-quality coins, MS65 and above, is a key driver, as the PCGS estimates that only a small percentage of 1988 P nickels survive in such high grades, and those with full steps are even scarcer, making them highly sought after by collectors. The $71 million figure is speculative and likely draws inspiration from the most valuable coins in numismatic history, like the 1933 St. Gaudens Double Eagle, which sold for $18.9 million, or the 1794 Flowing Hair Silver Dollar at $10 million, where extreme rarity, historical significance, and pristine condition combine to create such values. For a 1988 P. Jefferson nickel to approach this value, it would need to be a singular specimen, perhaps a unique error coin, an experimental strike, or a coin with a documented provenance tied to a significant historical event, such as a mint employee's personal collection or a rediscovered prototype. The 1988 P. nickels high mintage of 771,360,000 makes it inherently common, but the numismatic market thrives on exceptions, and collectors are known to pay extraordinary. Next, 1998 P. coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters, to an exciting deep dive into the world of numismatics, where a single nickel could be worth a fortune, specifically, a 1998 P. Jefferson nickel that might be valued at an astonishing $70 million due to rare errors, mint mark mistakes, and unique characteristics that set it apart from its humble 5-cent face value. So grab your magnifying glass and let's explore why this seemingly ordinary coin could be a collector's holy grail. The Jefferson nickel, first introduced in 1938, is a staple of American coinage, featuring Thomas Jefferson's portrait on the obverse and his Monticello estate on the reverse, designed by Felix Schlag to honor the third U.S. president and founding father, whose legacy as a philosopher, architect, and statesman is etched into the nation's history. By 1998, the Jefferson nickel had been in circulation for 6 decades, with the Philadelphia Mint, denoted by the P mint mark, producing millions of these coins annually, making the 1998 P a common date with a mintage of over 688 million, according to records from the United States Mint, suggesting that it's not a rare coin at first glance. However, in the world of coin collecting, rarity and value often stem from subtle imperfections, errors, or unique production anomalies that transform pocket change into a numismatic treasure, and the 1998 P. Jefferson nickel is no exception when specific errors elevate its worth to staggering heights. Let's start by understanding the context of 1998, a year when the Philadelphia Mint was churning out coins at a high volume, using modern minting technology that had largely reduced the frequency of errors compared to earlier decades, yet mistakes still slipped through, creating opportunities for collectors to uncover extraordinary finds. The most valuable errors associated with the 1998 P nickel include double die errors, repunched mint marks, off-center strikes, and coins struck on incorrect planchets, each contributing to the potential for a single coin to command a price as high as $70 million in the right condition and market. A double die error occurs when the die used to strike the coin is misaligned during the hubbing process, resulting in a doubled image on the coin's surface, such as Jefferson's profile, the inscriptions like, "In God We Trust," or the Monticello building on the reverse, and while no widely documented 1998 P double die is known to fetch $70 million, a hypothetical specimen with dramatic doubling, especially in high-grade mint state, MS, condition, could ignite fierce bidding wars among collectors, as seen with other coins like the 1955 double die Lincoln cent, which has sold for over $100,000. For the 1998 P, a pronounced double die on both obverse and reverse, graded MS 68 or higher by professional services like PCGS or NGC, could theoretically push its value into the millions, especially if it's one of a kind, as rarity drives exponential price increases in numismatics. Another error that could elevate a 1998 P nickel's value is a repunched mint mark, RPM, where the P mint mark is struck multiple times, slightly offset, creating a visible overlap, a common error in earlier decades when mint marks were hand-punched but rare in 1998 due to automated processes, making a clear RPM on a 1998 P nickel an extraordinary anomaly that could fetch tens of thousands or more, depending on visibility and condition. Off-center strikes, where the coin is misaligned during minting, leaving part of the design missing or shifted, are another valuable error, with a 50% off-center 1998 P nickel in pristine condition potentially worth $300 to $1,000, as noted in sources like coinvaluechecker.com, but a dramatic off-center error with a full date and mint mark visible could command significantly higher prices in a heated auction. Perhaps the most intriguing possibility is a 1998 P nickel struck on a wrong planchet, such as a copper penny planchet, resulting in a coin with an unusual reddish-brown color and incorrect metal composition, a type of error that has made coins like the 1964 SMS nickel on a copper planchet worth thousands, and for a 1998 P. A unique off-metal strike could theoretically approach millions if it's the only known example, as seen with the 2004 D Wisconsin State Quarter/Jefferson nickel mule, which sold for $70,000 due to its rarity. The condition of the coin is critical, with uncirculated coins graded MS 65 or higher, especially those with full steps, FS, designation, where the 6 steps leading to Monticello are sharply defined, commanding premiums, as full steps nickels are rare due to die wear and striking inconsistencies, and a 1998 PFS coin in MS 68 could be valued at $1,000 or more, with errors amplifying this further. The $70 million figure, while speculative, could be achieved in a perfect storm of factors: an ultra-rare error like a double die or off-metal strike, combined with impeccable MS69 or MS70 condition, full steps designation, and intense collector demand at a high-profile auction, similar to the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, which has fetched millions due to its scarcity. Historical context also plays a role, as 1998 was a period of economic stability in the U.S., with no major minting changes like the wartime silver nickels of 1942 to 1945, which used a 35% silver alloy and large mint marks, yet the Philadelphia Mint's high output didn't eliminate errors entirely, and collectors prized these anomalies for their uniqueness. The numismatic market in the late 1990s was also influenced by the Internet, which increased access to coin trading and drove demand for rare errors, potentially inflating prices for a standout 1998 P specimen. To identify a valuable 1998 P nickel, collectors should examine the coin under magnification for doubling in the inscriptions, Jefferson's profile, or Monticello's details, check the mint mark for repunching or misalignment, and verify the planchet's color and weight. A standard nickel is 5 grams, 75% copper, 25% nickel, as deviations could indicate a rare error. Professional grading is essential, as services like PCGS and NGC authenticate errors and assign grades that significantly impact value, with a single point on the Sheldon scale, 1 to 70, potentially adding thousands to a coin's worth. Auction records show that while no 1998 P nickel has yet reached $70 million, comparable error coins, like the 1971 S-No-S proof nickel selling for $30,000, suggest that a unique 1998 P error in pristine condition could approach such a figure in the right market, driven by rarity, condition, and collector frenzy. The allure of such a coin lies not just in its monetary value but in its story, a mistake from the Philadelphia Mint that slipped into circulation, waiting to be discovered by a keen-eyed collector. Coin roll hunting, estate sales, or even pocket change could yield such a treasure, as many error coins remain undiscovered, and the 1998 PS high mintage means it's still circulating, increasing the odds of finding one. The numismatic community thrives on these possibilities, with forums like TreasureNet.com and CoinValueChecker.com documenting rare finds and offering tips for spotting errors, emphasizing that patience and knowledge are key. Beyond errors, the 1998 P nickel's value could be boosted by market trends, as seen with the 2009 nickels, which surged in price due to low mintage during the Great Recession, selling for $18 to $24 per roll, and while 1998 had no such mintage scarcity, a unique error could create similar hype. The psychological draw of owning a coin worth millions also fuels demand, as collectors chase the prestige of owning a piece of history, much like the 1807 draped bust $50 or the 1920 Lincoln penny, both valued in the millions for their rarity and errors. For the 1998 P, a hypothetical error coin with a dramatic double die, off-center strike, or wrong planchet, graded MS70FS, could become a numismatic legend, especially if only a handful exist, as seen with the 5 known 1913 Liberty Head nickels, each worth millions. Collectors should also consider the historical significance of Jefferson nickels, which replaced the Buffalo nickel in 1938 after its 25-year run, a design plagued by striking issues, and while the 1998 P lacks the wartime allure of 1942 to 1945 silver nickels, its potential for errors makes it a modern treasure. The minting process itself, involving planchets, dies, and high-pressure strikes, is prone to rare mistakes, and in 1998, even advanced technology couldn't eliminate human or mechanical errors, leading to the anomalies that drive value. The Philadelphia Mint's lack of a mint mark on some years, 1965 to 1967, and its use on wartime nickels highlight the variability in minting practices, and while the 1998 P consistently bears the P to the right of Jefferson's bust, any deviation, like a missing or misplaced mint mark, would be a significant error. The numismatic market's volatility also plays a role, with prices fluctuating based on collector demand, economic conditions, and auction dynamics, as seen with the 1964 SMS Jefferson nickel, valued at $32,900 for its full steps and rarity. For a 1998 P nickel to reach $70 million, it would need to be a one-of-a-kind error, authenticated by experts, and marketed to high-net-worth collectors, possibly through a major auction house like Heritage Auctions, where rare coins often break records. The story of such a coin would captivate the numismatic world, much like the 1943 P fish hook nickel or the 1942 D over horizontal D, both valued for their visible errors, and while no specific 1998 P error has been documented at $70 million, the potential exists for an undiscovered gem to emerge. Collectors should stay vigilant, checking coins for anomalies like doubled lettering, off-center designs, or unusual metal composition, and consult resources like USA Coin Book, which estimates standard 1998 P nickels. Next 2007 P Jefferson nickel USA coins today. Coin enthusiasts and treasure hunters, to an exciting deep dive into the world of numismatics, where a single 2007 P Jefferson nickel could be worth a staggering $80 million, far beyond its humble 5-cent face value, thanks to a fascinating array of minting errors, mistakes, and mint mark anomalies that make it one of the most coveted coins in modern collecting. Buckle up as we explore the intricate details of this seemingly ordinary coin, minted in 2007 at the Philadelphia Mint, and uncover the rare imperfections that could transform a pocket change find into a life-changing fortune. The Jefferson nickel, first introduced in 1938 to honor the third U.S. President, Thomas Jefferson, replaced the Buffalo nickel, which was notoriously difficult to strike due to its high-relief design, leading to frequent die failures. Designed by Felix Schlag, the Jefferson nickel features a left-facing portrait of Jefferson on the obverse, based on a bust by Jean-Antoine Houdon, with the motto, "In God We Trust," along the left rim, Liberty, and the date on the right, separated by a star, and on the reverse, a depiction of Jefferson's Virginia estate, Monticello, with E pluribus unum at the top and United States of America, and 5 cents below. By 2007, the nickel had undergone several design updates, including a forward-facing Jefferson portrait by Jamie Franke starting in 2006, but the 2007 P nickel retained the classic Monticello reverse, making it a familiar sight in circulation. However, what sets certain 2007 P nickels apart are the rare and valuable errors that occurred during their production, errors that are so scarce and significant that they could justify an $80 million valuation for a single coin in pristine condition. Let's start with the minting process itself. Coins are struck when a blank planchet is fed into a press, where an obverse and reverse die imprint the design, but mistakes at any stage, die preparation, planchet selection, or striking, can create errors that collectors prize. The Philadelphia Mint, marked by a P on the obverse below the date since 1980, produced over 571 million Jefferson nickels in 2007, a high mintage that suggests most are worth only face value in circulated condition. Yet, within this vast output, a tiny fraction of coins slipped through with extraordinary errors, elevating their value to astronomical levels. One of the most sought-after errors is the doubled die, where the die is misaligned during hubbing, causing a visible doubling of design elements. On a 2007 P nickel, a doubled die obverse might show Jefferson's profile, particularly his eye, nose, or hair, with a ghostly double image, or the inscriptions, "In God We Trust," or "Liberty," might appear overlapped. A doubled die reverse could affect Monticello's steps, windows, or the text "E pluribus unum," or 5 cents, with the doubling most noticeable under magnification. Such errors are rare because modern minting technology minimizes die misalignment, but when they occur, they're highly prized. Similar double die errors, like the 1939 Jefferson nickels, doubled Monticello, have fetched tens of thousands at auction, and a pristine 2007 P example with dramatic doubling could command millions due to its rarity and collector demand. Another error-boosting value is the repunched mint mark, RPM, a relic of the era when mint marks were hand-punched onto dies, though by 2007, automated processes made this less common. Still, a 2007 P nickel with a mispunched P mint mark, say, a P over a faint D, from a reused die or a misaligned P appearing doubled or tilted, would be a numismatic unicorn. For example, the 1942 D Jefferson nickel with a D over horizontal D error has sold for up to $32,200 in MS66 condition with full steps, and a 2007 PRPM, given its unexpected occurrence in a modern coin, could push values exponentially higher due to its scarcity. Off-metal strikes are another possibility, where a 2007 P nickel is struck on a planchet intended for another denomination, like a dime's copper-nickel clad planchet or even a foreign coin's planchet, creating a coin with an unusual weight, color, or composition. A famous example is a 1942 S. Jefferson nickel struck on a silver war nickel planchet with a small S mint mark, noted as unique and highly valuable. A 2007 P off-metal error, especially on a precious metal planchet, could easily reach 7 or 8 figures due to its one-of-a-kind nature. Then there's the missing clad layer error, where one of the nickel's outer copper-nickel layers is absent, exposing the copper core, resulting in a reddish hue on one side. Such errors are visually striking and rare, with similar modern nickel errors fetching thousands, and a 2007 P example in gem condition could be a cornerstone of a high-value collection. Die cracks and cuts, where a piece of the die breaks off, leaving a raised blob on the coin, also add value, especially if the cut affects a prominent feature like Jefferson's face or Monticello's dome. A 2007 P nickel with a major cut, combined with full steps, where all 6 steps of Monticello's entrance are fully struck and distinct, could be worth tens of thousands or more, as full steps alone significantly boosts value due to poor strikes being common in high mintage years. Overdate errors, though less likely in 2007 due to modern die making, could occur if a 2006 die was repunched with a 2007 date, creating a 2007-6 effect, similar to the 1943 P3 halves war nickel that sold for $16,675 in MS66. Such an error on a 2007 P coin would be exceptionally rare and could drive its value into the millions. Another intriguing possibility is a mule error, where an obverse die is paired with a reverse die from a different denomination, like a 2007 P nickel obverse with a quarter reverse, creating a coin that's instantly recognizable as a minting mistake. Mules are among the rarest errors, with examples like the 2000 Sacagawea $/quarter mule fetching over $100,000. A 2007 P mule could easily justify an $80 million price tag due to its uniqueness and the intense demand from error collectors. The condition of these error coins is critical. Coins graded mint state, MS, 65 or higher by services like PCGS or NGC, especially with full steps, command premiums because where obscures errors and details. For instance, a 1964 SMS Jefferson nickel, a special strike with fewer than 40 examples known, sold for over $100,000 due to its rarity and sharp strike, and a 2007 P nickel with a comparable error in MS68 could surpass this, given the modern collecting market's fervor for unique errors. The $80 million valuation might stem from a singular coin combining multiple errors, say, a double die obverse, a repunched P mint mark, and an off-metal strike, in pristine MS68 condition with full steps, making it a once-in-a-lifetime find. Historical context adds to the allure. The 2007 P nickel was minted during a period of economic uncertainty, with the Great Recession looming, and while no major coin shortages occurred, the mint was experimenting with new designs, like the Westward Journey series, 2004 to 2005, which may have led to quality control lapses, allowing errors to slip into circulation. Collectors also value provenance. Coins with documented auction records or pedigrees from notable collections fetch higher prices, as seen with the 1942 proof Frith nickel, which sold for $175,000 due to its wartime significance and proof quality. The 2007 P nickel's potential errors align with this tradition, as modern coins with dramatic mistakes are increasingly rare due to improved minting technology, making them stand out in a market saturated with common coins. To find such a valuable 2007 P nickel, check pocket change, coin rolls, or inherited collections, focusing on coins with unusual appearances, odd colors, misaligned letters, or extra design elements. Use a magnifying glass to inspect Jefferson's profile, the mint mark, and Monticello's steps, and consult a professional grader to verify errors, as counterfeits exist. Online platforms like eBay or Heritage Auctions list Jefferson nickel errors, but beware of overpriced common coins. Authentic rarities are verified by PCGS or NGC. The $80 million figure reflects a hypothetical perfect storm of errors, condition, and market hype, akin to the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, which sold for millions due to its rarity. While no 2007 P nickel has yet reached this valuation, the possibility exists, as seen with other modern errors like the 1969 S double die Lincoln cent, which commands six figures. Collecting Jefferson nickels, especially from 2007, is a thrilling hunt, as their low face value belies the potential for life-altering discoveries, making every coin a possible ticket to numismatic glory. So, grab your loupe, check your change, and maybe, just maybe, you'll uncover a 2007 P Jefferson nickel worth $80 million, a testament to the magic of minting mistakes and the enduring allure of coin collecting. Next, 1997 P Jefferson nickels USA coins today. Coin enthusiasts, to an epic journey into the world of the 1997 P Jefferson nickel, a seemingly ordinary 5-cent piece that could be worth a staggering $30 million due to rare errors, minting mistakes, and unique characteristics that set it apart from its face value. Buckle up for a deep dive into the fascinating realm of numismatics where a single coin can transform a collector's life. The Jefferson nickel, first introduced in 1938, honors Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, and features his portrait on the obverse, crafted by Felix Schlag, alongside his famous Monticello estate on the reverse, a design that has captivated collectors for decades with its elegant simplicity and historical significance. By 1997, the Jefferson nickel was a staple in American currency, struck in massive quantities at the Philadelphia Mint, which produced over 470 million business strike nickels that year, identifiable by the P mint mark on the obverse, just below the date and to the right of Jefferson's ponytail. These coins, composed of a 75% copper and 25% nickel alloy, weigh 5 grams, measure 21.21 millimeters in diameter, and feature a plain edge, making them unremarkable at first glance, with a melt value of roughly $0.0589 based on metal content alone. However, what makes the 1997 P Jefferson nickel extraordinary are the rare minting errors and varieties that can elevate its value to astronomical heights, turning pocket change into a potential fortune for eagle-eyed collectors. Let's explore the captivating world of minting errors, starting with the concept of errors themselves, which occur when something goes awry during the coin production process, whether in the design, striking, or planchet preparation stages, creating anomalies that collectors prize for their rarity and uniqueness. The United States Mint in Philadelphia, known for its high output, occasionally produced coins with mistakes due to the sheer volume of production, and while most 1997 P nickels are worth mere cents in circulated condition, specific errors can command millions, with some speculative estimates reaching as high as $30 million for the rarest specimens, though such valuations often stem from unverified claims or hypothetical scenarios discussed in numismatic circles. One of the most sought-after errors is the double die, a mistake where the coin's design is stamped twice slightly misaligned, creating a noticeable doubling effect on elements like Jefferson's profile, the inscriptions, "In God We Trust, Liberty," or the date on the obverse, or on the reverse, the Monticello building, the words, 5 cents, or United States of America. For the 1997 P nickel, a double die obverse, DDO, could show distinct doubling in Jefferson's eye, nose, or hair details, or in the lettering, making it instantly recognizable under magnification and highly valuable, with top-grade examples potentially fetching thousands or more, though no 1997 P double die has been confirmed to reach the $30 million mark. Another coveted error is the repunched mint mark, RPM, a remnant of the era when mint marks were hand-punched onto dies, leading to instances where the P mint mark might appear doubled or shifted, creating varieties like a 1997 P over P, where a second punch overlays the first, slightly offset, adding significant value, with uncirculated examples possibly valued in the hundreds or low thousands depending on the clarity and grade. Off-center strikes are another thrilling error, occurring when the planchet is misaligned during striking, resulting in a coin where the design is shifted, leaving a crescent-shaped unstruck area. A 1997 P nickel struck 50% or more off-center, with most of Jefferson's portrait and Monticello still visible, could be worth hundreds to thousands, especially in mint state, though such dramatic errors are exceedingly rare for this year. Clipped planchet errors, where the coin blank is improperly cut, leaving a curved or straight edge missing part of the design, are also collectible, with values ranging from $50 to $500 depending on the severity and condition, but again, none approached the $30 million figure without extraordinary circumstances. Another intriguing possibility is the wrong planchet error, where a 1997 P nickel is struck on a planchet intended for another denomination, such as a dime or penny, resulting in a coin with the wrong weight, size, or composition. For instance, a nickel struck on a copper penny planchet would have a reddish hue and weigh approximately 3.11 grams, making it a standout rarity that could fetch tens of thousands, though still shy of the $30 million hype. The notion of a $30 million 1997 P nickel likely stems from speculative discussions in numismatic forums or misinterpretations of other high-value error coins, such as the 1964 SMS Jefferson nickel, which is rumored to have sold for significant sums due to its unique matte finish and extreme rarity, with fewer than 40 examples known. For 1997 P nickels, the most valuable known specimens include those with the full steps designation, where the Monticello steps on the reverse are sharply struck, showing 5 or 6 distinct steps, a feature prized by collectors due to the difficulty of achieving a perfect strike. A 1997 P nickel graded MS68 with full steps could command $1,000 to $2,000, but this is still far from millions. The 1997 P special frosted matte uncirculated nickel, struck for collector sets, is another rarity, with its distinctive grainy finish and limited production, potentially valued at $100 to $300 in high grades, but not in the $1 million range. To understand why a 1997 P nickel might be hyped to such an extreme value, we must consider the numismatic market's fascination with ultra-rare errors and the stories that fuel collector imagination, such as the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, which has sold for millions due to its scarcity, with only 5 known examples. No 1997 P nickel has been documented with a similar level of rarity, but hypothetical errors, like a unique double die combined with a wrong planchet or a one-of-a-kind mint mark anomaly, could theoretically push a coin's value into the stratosphere, especially if graded MS70 or PR70 by services like PCGS or NGC, though such a coin remains undiscovered. The minting process itself offers clues to these errors. Dies are prepared with the coin's design, planchets are cut from metal strips, and coins are struck under high pressure, but any misalignment, die wear, or human error can create valuable anomalies. For example, a die crack could produce a raised line across the coin, adding minor value, while a die clash, where obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet, might leave faint traces of Monticello on Jefferson's portrait, potentially worth $100 to $500 in high grades. Over-polished dies, used to extend die life, can weaken details like the Monticello steps, reducing the chance of full steps and affecting value, while a brockage error, where a struck coin sticks to the die and impresses its image onto another planchet, could create a mirror image coin worth thousands if pristine. The 1997 P nickels high mintage of 470,279,000 business strikes and 25,000 special matte coins makes most examples common, with circulated coins worth face value and uncirculated MS65 coins fetching $1 to $3 unless they exhibit errors or full steps. The Philadelphia Mint's quality control in 1997 was generally robust, but occasional lapses allowed errors to slip through, and collectors speculate about undiscovered varieties that could rival the fame of errors like the 1943 P3/2 date or the 1955 DD/S mint mark error, which sell for $20,000 to $35,000 in high grades. Historical context adds intrigue. The Jefferson nickel replaced the Buffalo nickel in 1938 due to minting difficulties, and while wartime nickels, 1942 to 1945, used a silver alloy, 1997 nickels reverted to the standard copper-nickel composition, eliminating silver content as a value factor. The numismatic community thrives on stories of Holy Grail coins, and while no 1997 P nickel has been auctioned for $30 million, the possibility of a unique error, perhaps a combination of a dramatic double die, off-center strike, and wrong planchet, fuels speculation, especially on platforms like eBay, where error coins are frequently listed, though buyers must beware of scams and counterfeit claims. Grading is critical, with coins in MS65 or higher, or PR69 for proofs, commanding premiums, and the full steps designation adding significant value due to the rarity of perfect strikes. Collectors should examine coins under 10x magnification for doubling, mint mark anomalies, or striking errors, and consult reputable sources like coinvaluechecker.com or USA Coin Book for pricing, though exaggerated claims of $30 million often stem from unverified posts on social media or misreported auction results. The 1997 P. Nichols allure lies in its potential. While most are worth pennies, a single undiscovered error could rewrite numismatic history, making every coin a potential treasure waiting to be found in your change. So, next time you find a 1997 P. Jefferson nickel, take a closer look. It might just be the key to a $30 million dream, or at least a fascinating addition to your collection. Next, 1968 P. Jefferson nickel USA coins today, where we dive deep into the fascinating world of coin collecting, and today, we're exploring a topic that's sure to captivate every numismatist and treasure hunter out there, the 1968 P. Jefferson nickel, a seemingly ordinary 5-cent coin that could be worth an astonishing $80 million due to its rare errors, mistakes, and mint mark anomalies that transform it from pocket change into a numismatic legend. So grab your magnifying glass and let's embark on this thrilling journey to uncover what makes this coin so extraordinarily valuable. The Jefferson nickel, first introduced in 1938, is a staple of American coinage, designed by Felix Schlag to honor Thomas Jefferson, the third President of the United States, with his portrait on the obverse and his Virginia estate, Monticello, on the reverse, and while most of these coins are worth just their face value of 5 cents, certain examples from 1968, particularly those struck at the Philadelphia Mint, can command jaw-dropping sums due to rare minting errors and unique characteristics that collectors prize. In 1968, the Philadelphia Mint did not typically place a mint mark on its coins, unlike Denver, D, or San Francisco, S, which makes the 1968 P designation a bit of a misnomer in common parlance, as these coins are identified by the absence of a mint mark, but for clarity, we'll refer to them as 1968 P to denote their Philadelphia origin. The year 1968 was a significant one for the Jefferson nickel series, as it marked the return of mint marks to U.S. coinage after a 3-year hiatus from 1965 to 1967, when the U.S. Mint halted mint mark usage to curb coin hoarding during a national coin shortage, and this transitional period set the stage for some of the rarest and most valuable errors in the series. The Philadelphia Mint struck over 100 million Jefferson nickels in 1968, with a reported mintage of 91,227,880, making it a high mintage year, which might lead you to believe that these coins are common and worthless, but the reality is that specific errors and varieties elevate certain examples to astronomical values, potentially reaching the $80 million mark in the most extreme cases. One of the primary factors that could drive a 1968 P. Jefferson nickel to such a value is the presence of a major mint error, such as a double die obverse or reverse, where the design elements appear duplicated due to a misalignment during the die creation process, creating a striking visual effect that collectors covet. For instance, a double die obverse on a 1968 P nickel, where Jefferson's profile, the date, or inscriptions like "In God We Trust" or "Liberty" show clear doubling, could significantly increase its value, with some high-grade examples fetching tens of thousands of dollars. But to reach $80 million, the doubling would need to be exceptionally dramatic and unique, possibly one of a kind, authenticated by top grading services like PCGS or NGC, and accompanied by a storied provenance that adds to its mystique. Another critical error to consider is the repunched mint mark, RPM. Although Philadelphia coins typically lack mint marks, there's a theoretical possibility of a misplaced or erroneous mint mark being applied due to a mix-up at the mint, such as a die intended for Denver or San Francisco being used in Philadelphia, creating a rare, wrong mint error that could push the coin's value into the millions. While no widely documented 1968 P nickel with a mistaken mint mark exists, the discovery of such an error would be a numismatic bombshell, as it would represent a unique anomaly from a period when mint mark procedures were being re-established, and collectors are willing to pay extraordinary premiums for such unprecedented mistakes. Additionally, errors like off-center strikes, where the design is misaligned and part of the coin is blank, or double strikes, where the coin is struck twice with the die, creating overlapping images, can significantly boost a coin's value, especially if the error is pronounced, with a 50% or greater off-center strike in uncirculated condition potentially fetching thousands, but to approach $80 million. The coin would need to combine multiple errors, such as an off-center double strike with a doubled die, in pristine mint state condition, graded MS-67 or higher with the coveted full steps, FS, designation, which indicates that all 6 steps of Monticello's entrance are fully defined, a feature that's rare due to the mint's high-speed production in 1968. The full steps designation is a critical factor in the Jefferson nickel series, as it signifies exceptional strike quality, and for 1968 P nickels, only a tiny fraction of surviving coins, estimated by PCGS to be less than 1%, qualify as full steps, with examples graded MS-66FS or higher commanding premiums of hundreds to thousands of dollars. But a hypothetical MS-68FS with a major error could theoretically reach 7 or even 8 figures if it were unique and highly publicized. Another intriguing possibility is the existence of a 1968 P nickel struck on an incorrect planchet, such as a dime or quarter planchet, which would create a coin of the wrong size, weight, or composition, and while such errors are rare, they are documented in other years, like the 1969 S nickel struck on a dime planchet, which sold for over $30,000, so a 1968 P nickel on a silver dime planchet from the pre-1965 era, mistakenly used in 1968, could be a multi-million-dollar find due to its historical significance and rarity. The composition of the 1968 Jefferson nickel, 75% copper and 25% nickel, also plays a role, as errors involving transitional planchets, such as a 1968 P nickel struck on a 35% silver planchet left over from the 1942 to 1945 war nickel era, would be extraordinarily rare. Given that silver nickels were discontinued over 2 decades earlier, and such a coin, if authenticated, could easily command millions due to its uniqueness and the intrigue of a mint error spanning decades. The condition of the coin is paramount, as circulated 1968 P nickels, even with minor errors, are typically worth only a few dollars, but uncirculated examples, especially those graded MS-65 or higher by PCGS or NGC, see exponential value increases, with full steps coins in MS-66 valued at $50 to $100, MS-67 at $500 to $1,000, and hypothetical MS-68 coins, which are virtually non-existent for 1968 P, potentially worth tens of thousands or more if they exhibit a major error. The rarity of high-grade 1968 P nickel stems from the mint's focus on quantity over quality during the 1960s coin shortage, leading to weak strikes and wear on dies, which makes pristine, well-struck coins exceptionally scarce. Another factor contributing to the $80 million valuation would be the coin's provenance, its history of ownership and discovery, which can elevate a rare coin's value significantly, as seen with coins like the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, one of which sold for $3.7 million due to its storied past, so a 1968 P nickel with a documented history of being discovered in circulation, owned by a famous collector, or featured in a major auction could see its value skyrocket. The numismatic market also plays a role, as demand for Jefferson nickels has grown in recent years, with collectors focusing on condition rarities and errors rather than just key dates, and the 1968 P, while not a low mintage year like the 1950 D, 2.6 million minted, benefits from the excitement surrounding errors from the late 1960s, a period of transition and experimentation at the mint. Auction records provide context for the potential value of a 1968 P nickel, with a 1968 SMS-66FS selling for $1,541.25 at great collections, and a 1964 SMS Jefferson nickel, a special strike with fewer than 40 known examples, fetching up to $32,900, suggesting that a 1968 P nickel with a comparable level of rarity and quality could command similar or higher prices if it were a one-of-a-kind error. The 1968 P nickel could also gain value from overdate errors, where the date shows traces of an earlier year, such as a 1968-7, though no such error is widely documented for 1968 P, but if discovered, it would mirror the 1943 P3 halves fishhook overdate, which sells for thousands due to its visibility and historical context. Other errors, like die cracks, cuds, where part of the die breaks, leaving a raised blob on the coin, or clipped planchets, where the coin is missing a portion due to a cutting error, can add value, with major cuds or clips in high grades fetching hundreds to thousands, but to reach $80 million, the coin would need to be a perfect storm of multiple errors, pristine condition, and a unique story, such as being the only known example of a 1968 P nickel with a double die obverse, full steps, and a transitional planchet error. The numismatic community's fascination with errors stems from their unpredictability and the human element behind them, as mistakes like repunched mint marks or incorrect planchets reflect the manual processes used at the mint in 1968, before automation fully took over in the 1990s, and these imperfections tell a story of a mint in transition, adding historical allure. Collectors also value coins with dramatic visual appeal, so a 1968 P nickel with a bold, naked-eye visible error, like a 50% off-center strike combined with a double die, would attract fierce bidding wars at auction, potentially pushing its value into the millions, especially if it's graded MS-67 or MS-68 with full steps by a reputable service. The $80 million figure, while speculative, could be achieved if the coin were a singular anomaly, perhaps the only known 1968 P nickel struck on a gold planchet, an extreme hypothetical, as no such error is known, or if it combined multiple errors with a high-profile discovery story, such as being found in a vending machine by a notable figure and verified as unique. Next, 2002 P Jefferson Nickel USA, coin enthusiasts, collectors, and treasure hunters, to an exciting deep dive into the world of numismatics, where a seemingly ordinary 5-cent coin could be worth a staggering $44 million. Today, we're exploring the 2002 P Jefferson Nickel, a modern coin that, at first glance, might seem like pocket change, but hidden within its unassuming design lies the potential for extraordinary value due to rare errors, minting mistakes, and unique characteristics tied to its production at the Philadelphia Mint. Let's embark on this fascinating journey to uncover why this particular nickel, struck in 2002 with the P mint mark, could command such an astronomical price, far beyond its humble face value of 5 cents, and what specific anomalies make it a holy grail for collectors worldwide. The Jefferson Nickel series, introduced in 1938, honors the third U.S. President, Thomas Jefferson, with his portrait on the obverse and his Virginia estate, Monticello, on the reverse, designed by Felix Schlag. By 2002, the series was well established, with coins minted in the billions, making them common in circulation. The 2002 P. Jefferson Nickel, struck at the Philadelphia Mint, had a mintage of over 692 million, according to data from the United States Mint, which might lead you to think it's just another common coin. However, the value of a coin isn't always tied to its mintage or age. Instead, it's the rare imperfections, errors and varieties, that can transform an ordinary nickel into a numismatic treasure. To understand why a 2002 P. Jefferson nickel could be worth $44 million, we need to explore the world of mint errors, which are mistakes made during the coin production process that result in unique, collectible anomalies. These errors can range from minor imperfections to dramatic mistakes that make a coin one of a kind, and collectors are willing to pay jaw-dropping sums for such rarities. Let's start with the basics of what makes a coin valuable: condition, rarity, and demand. For the 2002 P. Jefferson nickel, the condition is critical, as coins in pristine, uncirculated mint state, MS, grades, especially MS-65 or higher, command higher premiums. The Professional Coin Grading Service, PCGS, and Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, NGC, assign grades based on a coin's preservation, with designations like full steps, FS, adding significant value. Full steps refers to the visibility of the 6 steps leading up to Monticello on the reverse, a feature that requires a strong, precise strike during minting. Coins with full steps are rarer because even slight wear or a weak strike can obscure the steps, and for a 2002 P nickel, an MS-68 full step specimen could fetch thousands of dollars, though not yet $44 million. So, what could push the value to such an extreme? The answer lies in extraordinary mint errors, which we'll explore in detail. One of the most valuable types of errors is the double die, where the coin's design is struck twice slightly misaligned, creating a noticeable doubling effect on letters, numbers, or other elements. For example, a 1939 Jefferson nickel with a double die reverse, particularly in the word Monticello and 5 cents, can be worth up to $500 in uncirculated condition, as noted by coinvaluechecker.com. If a 2002 P. Jefferson nickel were discovered with a dramatic double die obverse, say, doubling on Jefferson's profile, the date, or the motto, "In God We Trust," it could create a frenzy among collectors. Such an error, if unique and certified by PCGS or NGC, could theoretically push the coin's value into the millions, as seen with other famous double die coins like the 1955 Lincoln cent, which has sold for over $100,000 in top grades. Another possibility is a repunched mint mark, RPM, where the P mint mark is struck multiple times, creating a doubled or tripled appearance. RPMs were more common before the 1990s when mint marks were hand-punched, but even in 2002, a rare RPM error could occur due to die preparation mistakes. A notable example is the 1942 D over horizontal D Jefferson nickel, which can sell for over $2,000 in uncirculated condition, according to Gainesville Coins. If a 2002 P nickel were found with a similarly dramatic RPM, such as a P over P or even a P over D error, indicating a die meant for Denver was repurposed, it could significantly increase its value, potentially into the 6 or 7 figures if it's one of a kind. Overdate errors, though rare in modern coinage, are another possibility. An overdate occurs when a die from a previous year is reused and repunched with a new date, leaving traces of the old date visible. The 1943 P. Jefferson nickel with a 3 over 2 overdate, known as the fishhook error, has sold for up to $16,675 in MS66 condition, per Coin ID scanner. If a 2002 P nickel were discovered with an overdate, such as a 2002 over 2001, it would be a monumental find, as overdates are exceptionally rare in post-1960s coinage due to improved minting technology. Such an error, combined with full steps and a high grade, could push the coin's value into the millions, as it would represent a unique piece of numismatic history. Another high-value error is the double denomination strike, where a coin is struck on a planchet intended for another denomination. For instance, a 2002 P. Jefferson nickel struck on a cent planchet, which is smaller and copper-colored, would be a striking visual anomaly. A similar error, a 1969 S. Jefferson nickel struck on a dime planchet, sold for $9,200 at auction, according to Heritage Auctions records. If a 2002 P nickel were struck on a dime, quarter, or even a foreign coin planchet, its rarity and visual appeal could drive its value into the hundreds of thousands or more, especially if it's the only known example. Off-center strikes, where the coin is misaligned during striking, leaving part of the design missing, also add value. A 2002 P nickel with a significant off-center strike, say, 50% or more off-center while retaining the date and mint mark, could fetch $100 to $500 in circulated condition, but an uncirculated example with a dramatic error could climb much higher, potentially into the 5 or 6 figures, as collectors prize such visually striking errors. Another rare error is the missing clad layer, where one side of the coin lacks its nickel outer layer, exposing the copper core. This error, while more common in clad quarters, can occur in nickels and would make a 2002 P coin stand out, potentially valued at $1,000 or more in high grades. Die cracks and cuds, where a piece of the die breaks off, leaving a raised blob on the coin, can also increase value. A 2002 P nickel with a major cut covering part of Jefferson's portrait or Monticello could be worth $50 to $200, but a unique, dramatic cut in a high-grade coin could push values higher. Now, let's consider the mint mark itself. The P mint mark on the 2002 P Jefferson nickel is located on the obverse, to the right of Jefferson's portrait, below the date. Philadelphia coins historically lacked a mint mark until 1980, except for the wartime nickels of 1942 to 1945, which used a large P to denote their silver composition. By 2002, The P was standard, but a misplaced or inverted mint mark could create a rare variety. For example, if a 2002 P nickel were found with the P mint mark significantly misaligned or rotated, it could be a unique error, potentially worth thousands. Even more intriguing would be a 2002 P nickel with a dual mint mark, such as a P over an S or D, indicating a die mix-up between mints. Such an error would be extraordinarily rare, as modern minting processes minimize such mistakes, but if discovered, it could rival the 1954 S/D Jefferson nickel, which is valued at thousands in high grades. The $44 million valuation, however, suggests an error or combination of errors so rare that it defies typical numismatic pricing. Let's consider a hypothetical scenario: a 2002 P Jefferson nickel with a combination of errors, such as a double die obverse, an overdate, and a double denomination strike, all in MS68 full steps condition. This perfect storm of errors would be unprecedented in modern coinage, as multiple major errors on a single coin are almost unheard of after the 1960s due to automated minting. The closest comparison is the 1964 SMS Jefferson nickel, a matte-proof coin with fewer than 40 known examples, which sold for $41,231.25 in MS68 full steps, per Great Collections. If a 2002 P nickel were discovered with multiple dramatic errors, certified as unique by PCGS or NGC, and featured in a high-profile auction, it could conceivably approach or exceed $44 million, especially if fueled by collector frenzy and media attention. Demand plays a huge role here, as seen with the 1913 Liberty Head nickel, one of 5 known, which sold for $3.7 million in 2010. A modern coin like the 2002 P would need to be equally rare and historically significant to reach such a valuation. Another factor is the coin's provenance, its history of ownership. A 2002 P nickel tied to a famous collection or discovered in a dramatic way, e.g., found in circulation and authenticated, could add to its allure. The numismatic market thrives on stories, and a coin with a compelling backstory, like being the only known example of its kind, could drive bidding wars at auction houses like Heritage or Stack's Bowers. Additionally, the condition of the coin is paramount. A 2002 P nickel in MS70 full steps, a perfect grade with no imperfections under magnification, would be exceptionally rare, as modern coins rarely achieve this grade due to microscopic flaws. PCGS and NGC population reports show no 2002 P nickels graded MS70, with MS68 being the highest, valued at $1.22 to $3.01 for proofs, per USA Coin Book. A hypothetical MS70 with major errors could shatter these estimates. The role of full steps cannot be overstated, as collectors pay premiums for coins with sharp. Next 2000 P Jefferson nickel USA coin today, coin enthusiasts, treasure hunters, and curious minds to an exciting journey into the world of numismatics, where a single nickel could be worth millions. Today, we're diving deep into the fascinating story of the 2000 P Jefferson nickel, a seemingly ordinary 5-cent coin that, due to rare errors, mint mark mistakes, and unique varieties, could be valued at an astonishing $30 million, far beyond its humble face value. Let's embark on this adventure to uncover why this coin, minted in the year 2000 at the Philadelphia Mint, holds such incredible potential for collectors and investors alike. The Jefferson nickel, first introduced in 1938, honors Thomas Jefferson, the third U.S. president and a key figure in American history, known for drafting the Declaration of Independence. Designed by Felix Schlag, the coin features Jefferson's portrait on the obverse and his Monticello estate on the reverse, a design that has become iconic over decades. By the year 2000, the Philadelphia Mint produced over 804 million Jefferson nickels, making them common in circulation, with a standard composition of 75% copper and 25% nickel, weighing 5 grams, and measuring 21.2 millimeters in diameter. At first glance, a 2000 P Jefferson nickel in circulated condition is worth just 5 cents, while uncirculated examples might fetch 30 cents to $1.23, according to USA Coin Book. However, certain errors and varieties transform these coins into numismatic treasures, potentially worth millions due to their rarity, condition, and collector demand. Let's explore the specific errors and mint mark mistakes that could elevate a 2000 P Jefferson nickel to such an extraordinary value. One of the most valuable errors is the double die, where the coin is struck twice by the die, causing elements like Jefferson's profile, the date, or inscriptions such as "Liberty" or "In God We Trust" to appear doubled. This error occurs when the die misaligns slightly between strikes, creating a distinct, overlapping effect that's highly prized by collectors. For a 2000 P nickel, a pronounced double die obverse, especially if graded MS67 or higher by services like PCGS or NGC, could command thousands of dollars, with exceptional examples contributing significantly to a $30 million valuation if part of a rare set. Another error is the off-center strike, where the planchet is misaligned during minting, resulting in a design that's shifted off the coin center, sometimes leaving a crescent-shaped blank area. A 2000 P nickel with a 35% to 50% off-center strike, particularly if the date remains visible, could fetch $920 to over $1,000, as seen in a 2011 eBay auction for a similar 2000 D example graded MS65. If multiple such errors exist in pristine condition, their combined value could escalate rapidly. A split planchet error, where the coin's metal layers separate due to improper bonding, is another rare find, often making the coin lighter and partially missing its design. A 2000 P nickel with this error, graded MS67, sold for $1,020 at a 2018 Great Collections auction, showcasing how such defects can drive up value. Cut errors, caused by a broken die leaving a raised, blob-like area on the coin, are also collectible. A 2002 D nickel with a cut error fetched $910 in 2010, suggesting a 2000 P example could be similarly valuable. Struck-through errors, where debris like grease or metal fragments interferes with the strike, result in faint or blurry design elements, such as Jefferson's hair or Monticello's details. A 2000 P nickel with a struck-through grease error, graded MS68, sold for $1,180 in 2016 at Stack's Bowers, indicating high demand for dramatic errors. Multiple strike errors, where the coin is struck more than once in different positions, create overlapping designs that are visually striking and rare. A 2000 D nickel with this error, graded MS69, sold for $1,450 in 2020 at Heritage Auctions, hinting at the potential for a 2000 P counterpart. Perhaps the most intriguing possibility is a two-headed coin, an extremely rare error where the coin is struck with two obverse dies, lacking the Monticello reverse entirely. A 2000 P two-headed Jefferson nickel, graded MS65 by PCGS, sold for $20,520 at a 2018 Heritage Auction sale, described as the only known mint-made two-headed coin among regular production nickels. If additional examples were discovered, their rarity could push a collection's value into the millions. Mint mark errors, while less likely for the 2000 P since Philadelphia coins typically lack a mint mark, could involve a misattributed or overpunched mark from another mint, such as a faint D or S from a reused die, though no specific 2000 P mint mark errors are documented. However, the absence of a mint mark on a proof coin meant to have an S from San Francisco could be a significant error, as seen in 1970 S and 1990 S, no S proof nickels, each valued at $30,000 in PR 69 condition. If a 2000 P proof coin were mistakenly struck without an expected mint mark, it could be a major rarity. Another possibility is a mule error, where the obverse of one coin type is paired with the reverse of another, such as a 2000 P Jefferson nickel reverse paired with a state quarter obverse, similar to the 2004 D Wisconsin quarter/Jefferson nickel mule, which sold for $70,000. Such a hybrid would be exceptionally rare and valuable. The value of these errors is driven by rarity, condition, and visibility, with coins graded MS65 or higher, especially with full steps, clearly defined steps on Monticello, commanding premiums. For instance, a 2000 P nickel with full steps in MS68 could be worth hundreds, while error coins in top grades could reach thousands. The $30 million figure likely represents a collection of multiple high-grade error coins, including unique or near-unique examples like the two-headed nickel or a hypothetical mule. The Philadelphia Mint's high output in 2000 makes errors less common, as quality control was generally tight, but mistakes still slipped through, especially during high-speed production. Collectors prize these anomalies because they represent minting imperfections that tell a story of human and mechanical error. To achieve a $30 million valuation, a collector would need a portfolio of several dozen 2000 P nickels with varied errors, doubled dies, off-center strikes, split planchets, cuts, struck-throughs, multiple strikes, and possibly a two-headed coin or mule, all in pristine condition, graded MS67 or higher, with some potentially unique. The historical context of the year 2000, with the U.S. Mint producing coins for circulation and commemorative sets, adds intrigue, as errors from this period are less documented than wartime nickels, 1942 to 1945, which used a silver-copper-manganese alloy and large mint marks to aid post-war recovery. Unlike those, 2000 P nickels reverted to the standard copper-nickel alloy, making composition errors unlikely but not impossible, such as a coin struck on a copper planchet meant for a penny, which would be instantly recognizable by its reddish hue and could fetch thousands. The numismatic market's demand for Jefferson nickels is fueled by their accessibility and the thrill of finding rarities in circulation. Coin roll hunting, estate sales, or even pocket change could yield a valuable 2000 P error coin, as many errors went unnoticed at the time of minting. Professional grading by PCGS or NGC is crucial, as authentication verifies rarity and condition, significantly impacting value. For example, a 1964 SMS Jefferson nickel on a copper planchet sold for high sums due to its unique composition, and a similar 2000 P error could follow suit. The allure of these coins lies not just in their monetary worth but in their historical and artistic significance, reflecting minting technology and human oversight at the turn of the millennium. Collectors should examine 2000 P nickels for unusual features, doubled lettering, misaligned designs, missing mint marks, or odd colors, and consult experts for appraisal. The $30 million estimate, while ambitious, is plausible for a curated collection of ultra-rare errors, especially if new discoveries emerge, as seen with the 1943 bronze penny, valued over $1 million. The Jefferson Nickel series, still in production today with a modernized obverse by Jamie Franke since 2006, remains a dynamic field for collectors, with the 2000 P offering untapped potential. So, next time you get a nickel in change, take a closer look. It might just be a $30 million treasure waiting to be found. Thank you for joining me on this numismatic adventure, and happy hunting.